Welcome back to News and Views, a midday chat show mostly for people stuck in airports. I'm your sensitive and appropriately concerned host, Sal Sirius, here with my favorite color commenter, Val.
Hey Sal, and do we have some colorful guests with us today? Three beloved and cherished holidays from the fall season: Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. New Year's Day was supposed to join us, but unfortunately he overslept.
Boo! Still not funny, Halloween. Sorry.
Can we call him Fall Festival? I mean, we're in church after all.
Would that make you more comfortable?
Yes.
Fine by me, as long as there's candy and costumes, I'm in.
Candy and costumes, and if we say Fall Festival, we capture the most important reason for the season: pumpkin spice and everything.
Fine. Fall Festival, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Before we went to break, we were discussing whether or not each of you felt like you were getting your chance to shine.
Yes, I was thinking that we could talk about me.
Oh yeah. As soon as Labor Day is gone, it's all mine, baby. Everyone loves Halloween, parties, and mwahahaha.
Last year, I dressed up as a pumpkin spice frappuccino.
Right. Adults get pumpkin spice and everything, and the kids get candy. Can there be a better holiday?
That's precisely what we're here to find out. Which is the best fall holiday?
I'm glad you asked because we can't talk about...
Are you serious, Chris?
I'm sorry, it's time.
Is there a problem?
Is there? Look, Chris is setting up all his stuff, like right in front of me.
Ooh, I love tinsel.
There's one thing Christmas must do: move merchandise. Retail is completely dependent on me.
I can't even see my chance to shine. Come on, guys, let's talk about me. Please, can't forget about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's great.
Oh yeah, as soon as Labor Day. Well, at least wait until after Fall Festival, okay? I mean, know your place.
But wait, shouldn't we...
Fine, but don't come crying to me when no one has money to buy candy because we're in a huge recession.
Guys, please, we're here to determine which holiday is the best.
From a GDP standpoint, it's definitely me.
Would either of you like to challenge that?
No, that's not really my thing. I'm more about being...
There's a sale on purses. Leather. Really nice. Sale on purses.
Who is that?
Oh, please just ignore him.
You guys know anything about this?
He seemed to know you, Sam. What's the scoop?
Look, we haven't had a conversation about Thanksgiving without talking about why we love the holiday, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is about...
I have a really important announcement. Really important. Stores will be opening at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. You can start standing in line at midnight. Go crazy.
Come on, you guys have to know something about him.
That's Thanksgiving, friend, Black Friday.
He's not my friend, and he always does this.
I don't know why you're making such a fuss.
He ruins this every year with his blatant commercialism. Every year.
I think you should just embrace it. Work for me.
Correction. Stores will be opening at 8 p.m. the night before.
What?
That's 8 p.m. between the second and third football game or whenever you're done with your little snack.
Little snack? It's a feast!
Yeah, whatever. Just come by and start shopping. You can get a GoPro for $100.
Are you kidding me? $100?
Nope, not kidding. $100.
We should get in line.
Can you drive? My sleigh's in the shop.
No rush. On Monday, you can get a GoPros Plus accessory pack for the same price.
Wait your turn.
Online ads start like today.
Looks like we're about out of time anyway. We'll have to leave this question for another time.
I was hoping we could talk about me. Come on, guys.
Shop vacs are now buy two, get one free at Sears.
And on Monday, you can get 2 for 1 plus $50 rebate when you order online.
Limited supply, first come, first serve. No guarantees for sales on Monday.
Forget the rush and bustle. Stay home and on your couch and shop in your pajamas.
Oops. Free TVs to the first 50 customers who show up.
Whatever. Free shipping and delivery to your door.
Stop that.
Free TV, I've got to go get in line.
It looks like our time is up anyway. Our thanks to our guests, the 3 biggest holidays at the end of the year, Fall Festival, Christmas, and of course, Black Friday.
And surprise goes Cyber Monday.
Hey, what about me?
Let's go. I want that free TV.
Spooktacular.
Be thankful. That's all I wanted to say. Be thankful.
Hey, wasn't there supposed to be like an interview or something going on here?
You missed it. Who are you?
New Year's Day, of course. The best holiday of the year. Christmas clearance sales. No work. Great offers on debt consolidation. Who are you?
Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah, right. Like Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and stuff like, right?
Right here, kid.
Why did you drop the microphone? I was giving it to you. You weren't supposed to give it to me. You're supposed to fight over it.
Deuteronomy 8:11 through 18. Make sure you don't forget God, your God, by keeping his commandments and his rules and regulations that I command you today. Make sure that when you eat, you are satisfied, building pleasant houses and settled in. See your herds and flock flourish, and more money comes in. Make sure you don't become so full of yourself and things that you forget God, your God, the God who delivered you from Egyptians' slavery, the God who led you through the huge and fearsome wilderness, those delicate and bad lands, crawling through the fiery snakes and scorpions, the God who gave you the water gushing from hard rock, the God who gave you the manna to eat in the wilderness. Sometimes your ancestors had never heard of, in order to give you a taste of the hard life to the last test you, so that you would be prepared to live well in the days ahead of you. If you start thinking to yourself, I did all this and that all by myself, I'm rich, I'm all mine, well, think again. Remember that God, your God, gave you the strength to produce all the wealth so that as to confirm the covenant that he promised to your ancestors as it is today.
Our skit was meant to be humorous, but we hope it made you stop and think for a minute. Do we remember Thanksgiving as we should? Or do we just treat Thanksgiving as a placeholder between Halloween candy and Christmas shopping? We've been looking into Thanksgiving as a group on Wednesday nights, and we thought we'd share a bit about what we've learned. Sharon Trotter Martin, by the way, is a bit of an expert, so you have to thank her for a lot of what we've learned. The first Thanksgiving took place sometime after the first harvest in 1621, somewhere between September and November, nearly a year after the Mayflower arrived in Plymouth in December of 1620. No other ships arrived in Plymouth until after that first Thanksgiving. What we know is that when the Mayflower arrived in Plymouth, there were 102 colonists ready to settle the new land, but nearly half of them died that first year due to starvation and disease, leaving only 53 alive by the time of that first harvest.
The Wampanoag tribe helped the colonists by showing them how to plant harvests, such as crops of corn. When the first Thanksgiving was celebrated, the remaining pilgrim leaders, including 4 women and about 90 Wampanoag Indians and their leader, Massoit, joined to celebrate the good crop. But when did Thanksgiving become Thanksgiving? A national holiday, complete with no school and a closed business? President George Washington made a declaration of Thanksgiving in 1789, and President Lincoln made it a national holiday in 1863. We should give some credit to Senator Hale, who started a movement to make it a national holiday in 1846. He probably would have made it a national holiday earlier if he had been successful in his run for president against Van Buren in 1848. Thanksgiving was celebrated on the last Thursday of November until 1939, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt moved it to the second to last Thursday, November 23rd. Since that year, there were 5 Thursdays in the month, and retail lobbyists were worried that Thanksgiving on November 30th would hurt the Christmas shopping season.
It was an issue of debate until Congress passed the joint resolution in 1941 to have Thanksgiving held on the last Thursday of the month. And the Senate amended the resolution to have a holiday held on the 4th Thursday of the month. A clever bit of compromise satisfy retailers that holiday wouldn't cut into Christmas shopping until those years when November has 5 Thursdays in it. How interesting is it that Christmas was competing with Thanksgiving as in the 1930s? I can tell you that President George Washington would have been disappointed if he had known. When he first proclaimed a day of prayer and thanksgiving, so he did with these words:
Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th of November, next, that we may then all unite in rendering unto God our sincere and humble thanks for his kind care and protection, for the civil and religious liberties with which we are blessed, and in general for all the great and various favors which he hath been pleased to confer upon us.
Thanks, Harry Bulkley. But now in a language we can all understand, President Washington proclaimed a day of Thanksgiving as one in which we could all remember of how much God has blessed us and in general get back to remembering that all good and perfect things come from God. Did you know about any of this? Did you know that despite the small bit of peace and harmony among the Plymouth colonists and the Wampanoag Indians, that it was just in the next year, in 1622, that the Powhatan Confederacy nearly wiped out the struggling Jamestown colony, largely because of how much the land colonists were taking for their tobacco crops? How quickly we forgot to be thankful, which is why we picked our passage from Deuteronomy today. We like it because there is a good parallel between the colonists arriving in their new home in North America and the Israelites just about to enter their new home in the promised land of Canaan. In our passage in Deuteronomy, Moses is telling his colonists as they settle down and enjoy some peace and prosperity after years of struggle, they must not forget how they got where they are.
Let's read some parts of it again. Make sure that when you eat and are satisfied, build pleasant homes and settle in. See your herds and flocks flourish and more money. Come and watch your standard of living go up and up. Make sure you don't become so full of yourself and your things that you forget God, your God. It starts thinking to yourself, I did all this and all by myself. I'm rich. It's all mine. Well, think again. Remember that God, your God, gave you the strength to produce all the wealth so as to confirm the covenant that he promised to your ancestors as it is today. A reading of the Old Testament shows that Israelites needed forget all Moses wanted them to remember, and the long-term result was a complete victory of the Babylon over them in Israel. How about us? What does forgetting Thanksgiving mean to us? We think it has done more harm than we might recognize.
We skip over the thankful part and rush right into Christmas shopping and the greed of Christmas hinting for the gifts we want.
We forget to be thankful for the food we eat. We forget that not everyone has enough to eat.
We forget that Thanksgiving isn't even about the food. Nothing in President Washington's proclamation talks about feasting, but that is a day to remember all of our blessings.
We forget to
remember the sacrifices that have been made to give us our freedom. We can remember our veterans on more than just Veterans Day.
We forget that the first Thanksgiving was about community, about coming together to share resources and help one another.
We forget how focusing on community and finding our common ground could help to heal the divisions in our society and in our country.
We forget to be thankful, and worse, we may even forget how to be thankful.
Finn shared with his family. They remind each other to let the turkey have its day when they start getting distracted on Thanksgiving by ads for Christmas, or they start squabbling or complaining about things.
So, this year, let's all remember to let the turkey have its day and make it something much, much more than a placeholder between Halloween and Christmas shopping. Our younger Wednesday Night Live kids have a skit to share with you to help you get started on remembering Thanksgiving.
David, Abby, Anissa, James, Kellen, come on up, guys. David, you're going to be up here. Right here, Ben. You're going to be right in the front, remember, James? You're going to be right in the front. Kellen and James are our actors, and these are our narrators. All right, David, go for it.
Enough of edification. A few things which we are not thankful.
Walking into a spider web.
Waiting in line, any line. A line for ice cream or a line for the bathroom.
Okay, David,
Really loud sneezes.
A mouse running right in front of me.
Walking on hot cement barefoot.
Walking on cement.
Growing out of my favorite clothes.
Laughing so hard I snort, especially after having just taken a drink of milk or a bite of my sandwich.
Being embarrassed by my mom in public.
Feeling alone.
But I am learning I am never alone.
Even when it feels like no one understands what I'm going through.
God knows and He listens to me.
He loves me always.
He is on my team always.
He is opening doors to a better tomorrow for me always.
And so for your continued edification, a list of some things for which we are grateful.
The love of my family.
The laughter of friends.
My church family where I know I will always be welcome and I will always belong.
The promise that God is with me always, even when I find it hard to believe.
God's mercy and forgiveness, which means I get a brand new start each and every day.
The truth that God really cares about me and about what happens to me.
1 Peter 5:6-7 says, Be contact with who you are and don't put on airs.
God's strong hand is on you. He'll promote you at the right time.
Live carefree before God. He is most careful with you.
We are truly thankful.
Good job, Grace. I'm sorry I missed some more. That was my fault. Thank you, David. That was awesome. Aren't I blessed with these kids? Can't even tell you how blessed I am with these kids. And at this time, with that blessing in our hearts, I invite you to share your blessings so that we can continue to do work with our kids like this and also do a great deal of outreach into our community. And with that, I would welcome our deacons to collect the offering.